Well, joining us now here on GCR as we continue our coverage of the 2022 NFL Draft is a man who's going to hear his name called in this year's draft, and particularly intriguing for us here in Baltimore because we happen to know his former defensive coordinator pretty well. He's here now, joining us. Michigan linebacker Josh Ross. He's with us on GCR. Josh, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's great to chat with you, dude. So, give me an idea. Your thumbnail, the time that you got to spend this past season around Mike McDonald. What you get to know about him, and what should we know? Whether or not you end up back with him here in Baltimore, what should we know about him as Ravens fans?
Man, my experience with Coach Mike McDonald was honestly the best possible experience it could be. Just a guy like a coach that came into a environment to a challenge that honestly was bigger than him. Coming off the season that we had in 2020, and then coming into the new year. But I mean, I remember the first conversation we had, man. Like, it's just as we conversated, as we talked, it's like it's so easy to talk to this guy. Like, it's
Wow.
so easy to open up to this guy and build a bond on a different level than I ever built with a coach. But Coach Mike McDonald was an excellent leader, excellent coach, and it paid dividends for sure. Having him in our program last season.
Do you find yourself? I get it. You're gonna be excited no matter where it's gonna be, but do you find yourself saying, "Hey, man, it might be a little intriguing if it ends up being Baltimore and being able to hang out with my guy again."
I mean, yeah, man, I would definitely be excited for that. And, I definitely would be excited for that. So we'll see what happens. But
Right.
like when me and Coach Mike reunite one day, whether if it's draft day or any time after that, dude, I'm gonna be the happiest dude ever for
I mean,
sure.
it would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool for it to work out
Oh
that
yeah.
way. Hey,
Oh yeah.
Josh, let's just get to know you a little bit.
Oh yeah.
For people that say, what type of football player is an NFL team getting when they draft Joshua Ross?
Yeah. The type of football you're getting from Joshua Ross is a football player. I'm a go getter. I'm a gritty, tenacious, tough player that leaves his heart on the field every single snap, every rep. And I'm a guy that, my whole career, my whole life, whatever I had to do to help the team win, I know people just say it, but I'm about it. And I carry my business as such um, every day. So a team is going to get a guy that's going to do everything in his power to help the team win, help the team be better, and honestly help myself be the best player I can be
Do
every
you,
day.
do you feel like you're getting overlooked in this draft process? Do you feel like you should be getting the type of attention that maybe some of the guys are getting at the top of the draft? That right now teams are missing what type of talent they might be able to find in Josh Ross.
Yeah. Listen, I can't control
Yep.
who knows, who watches my game, who watches film, but as a guy that played at Michigan as a linebacker, that played at a high level, that plays at a high level, man, I bring so much to the table, and whoever gets me, I believe is gonna be a steal. And it's gonna be something when they're gonna look back at it as like a guy like I'm glad we invested in that guy. So overlooked or not, man, I'm not really worried about that. I'm just ready to go prove myself when the time comes and them lights is on.
Position wise, where do you think you most slide in specifically? Let's just say because it's what's in Baltimore in a 3-4 defense.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Mike is what position I feel like in a 3-4 I'm best suited for. Last year was the first time I've honestly ever played in a 3-4 defense, and I love the way that we constructed our defense, and we was built off of having hard edges, knocking them back and staying square, and we play like that every day and every game, to be honest. But Mike linebacker, man, I'm a guy that I embrace making the calls. I embrace being that rock on the defense because honestly, that's just naturally who I am. So, Mike is where I feel I'm suited. I'll do anything, whatever. Mike will, whatever I got to do,
Sure, of
I'm gonna do.
course. Right. Are you the guy that you like? Do you like being the one that sends out the commands that sort of takes on the role as the quarterback of the defense?
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, last year I was. It was a lot of situations where, pretty much every situation where I'm the quarterback of the defense, and I have to make the calls to get the defense started in a line. And it was challenging at times, especially playing some teams that did hurry up. It kind of gave some problems early on, but that's the best feeling in the world. Rallying the troops, earning that respect before anything
Yep.
from my teammates and able to be a leader on that field and lead as best as I can, man. It's no feeling better than that.
He is Josh Ross from Michigan. He's with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Josh, you obviously had your brother played in the NFL, went through this experience. I know he's a coach now at Cincinnati.
Yeah,
How much have
yeah.
you leaned on him as you've gone through this process yourself, asked him for advice, and what's the best thing that maybe he's told you to help prepare you for your own moments?
Yeah, man. That my brother James, he's literally been coaching me, ever since I came out the womb.
Hmm.
We was 5.5 years apart, growing up. So you literally everything he did, I wanted to do better. And he was one of the like my brother was one of those guys that was a great guy. One of the best role model I possibly can have. But he also was a superstar when we were young. And I was a little brother in our family that used to, what I'm saying, get picked on and bullied
Right,
on a little bit
right.
because I used to lose, and it like built up a competitive nature in me, that's unexplainable for real. Like I'm a competitor, I want to win, like I want to compete, and my brother, he was the reason why I am the way I am, and I'm just so thankful and glad that I have somebody like him in my life, because he's definitely helped me, and I'm just really excited to see. He just got hired as a Cincinnati position coach, and I'm just excited to see him flourish and thrive in the coaching world because like he's one of the best,
Is it
and
some?
people gonna see that.
Is it something that you could see yourself doing at some point down the road? Do you talk about being a leader on the field? Do you see yourself as a type that, like, again, no time soon because you're looking to have a lengthy career in the NFL,
Oh yeah,
but like
no
at some
doubt.
point in the future, could you see yourself being a coach as well?
Yeah, man. It's definitely possible. Like just a few things on my radar as something I want to aspire to be after football is over is like coaching, maybe like a TV personality, but just as far as those two categories, that's kind of only ones I got it broken down into right now. But as a coach, that comes natural to me. I'm a natural born leader, and that's something that would really flow really good with me. As far as like how I carry myself, conduct my business, I definitely could see myself doing that
Josh,
after, for
Josh,
sure.
I brought up and I talked to some folks at Michigan who said, referenced the leadership thing and what we're talking about. And one of the things they said is that like Josh, you can't learn about Josh the player just by looking at his measurables. And I know you probably were disappointed by maybe some of the things at the combine, some of the things that people said, but do you feel like teams understand that about you? Like when you have a conversation, do you feel like teams get that you're not a player that can alone be defined by, whatever cone score or drill that somebody does, and that you offer that much more when in terms of being an all-around football player?
Yeah, man. I am a football player. Like I'm not a combine guy. Never was. But at the same time, like it's about getting to point A and point B as fast as possible. And that's one thing last year that I improved was my play recognition, how fast I get to the ball, and as a theme, a lot of scouts that I talk to always contribute to the fact that I play a lot faster than what my 40 shows. So don't worry about
Mm-hmm.
it. You know what I mean? So I really, pride myself in the way I play, the way I prepare, and honestly, Coach Mike, nobody knows me like Coach
That's
Mike.
what I'm
So
saying, right?
if anybody knows as far as I'm saying how I am as a ball player, how I conduct myself, it's Coach Mike because he's seen it day in and day out.
Scheme wise, you talked about him and his relatability, but scheme wise, you
Yeah,
guys? Not to say that you were a bad defense before. I want to make that very clear, but you guys were out of this world a year ago, and I know it helps because
yeah,
you were loaded with really good players, right? Like there
yeah.
couldn't have been more good players. But what did he bring from a scheme that maybe helped elevate you even to that next step where you guys were able to win the Big Ten and have a shot at the national title?
What he brought that we haven't seen at Michigan, especially since I've been there, was the ability to collaborate, the
Hmm.
ability to work together, the ability to work together with the leaders and the players, giving them like a say, and also giving every assistant coach equal part in the puzzle and putting it all together is why what we built was so great because it wasn't just Coach Mike, it wasn't just me or Aiden, it was like everybody working together in unison, and that's what made us as good as we were.
I mean, it's not just you and Aiden. It's not just you and Aiden and David Ajabo. It's not just you and Aiden and David Ajabo and Daxton Hill. It's not,
Yeah,
like, my God, the
exactly.
list goes on.
No doubt.
Hey, with that in mind, did you reach out to David at all? Going through what he went through, I can only imagine how difficult that was. He's still another player that I think is, because of the injury, being overlooked. We know how good that dude is. Did you say anything to him? I know that had to be heartbreaking for everybody.
Yeah, so immediately after it happened, and honestly, what makes me upset is how like the media narrates the actual action of what happened is that people was walking away not caring, but really the other angle of the camera is trainers running over to him. Nobody just knew because it was just sudden and you didn't know what to do. But I actually talked to David the next night. Me, Josh Uche, and Khalid Hudson went to his crib and we was talking. And David is dude. That dude is one of the most motivated guys I've ever been around.
Yeah.
As far as how he is and his competitive nature. And this is just he just takes it as like it's a bump in his road, but it ain't about to stop nothing that's about to happen
Oh,
and what
man.
he about to do. And that's energy he brought when I had a conversation with him. So he's just excited to go get it in this next round, and wherever he gets drafted, he gonna make the best of it.
That's cool.
For sure.
That's cool. All right, Josh Ross from Michigan with us on GCR. Just another minute or two. Josh, when I say the words Ravens defense to you, what comes to mind? Is the heritage of the Ravens defense still matter to guys that are your age the way that it did 10, 15 years ago when Ray Lewis and Ed Reed were dominating this league?
Oh yeah, you already know it, man. Like as a backer, your favorite player is gonna be Ray Lewis. And
Yeah.
for me, that was my guy. Just the way that Ravens played in unison and the way they hit, how physical they were, how tenacious they were. Honestly, that was something as a kid, man. That's all I watched for real was Ray Lewis because I wanted to be like him.
Wow.
So the mantra of the Ravens, the mantra of Ravens defense, man. Like if I'm able to be a part of that and contribute to the success in years past, I would be the happiest man alive.
It's cool to hear you talk about like the legacy matters to you and carrying on something like that. That's really cool. He and Jim Harbaugh were teammates. You ever try to like nudge him and say, "Hey man, can you introduce me at some point? Like can you hook me up?" Did you ever
No,
try?
I never nudged him. I never pushed him or nudged him to do that. But I mean, like I said, dude, the Ravens defense, like the connection we have from Michigan to the
Yeah.
Ravens with Coach Harbaugh, everything about it, man, it's exciting, and it's something that I take a lot of pride in,
That's
so
awesome.
I'm looking forward
I
to it
mean,
for
it's the
sure.
reason. It's the reason we wanted to talk to you, my friend, because it's really intriguing. It seems like such a dumb guy thing, right? Like, hey, he
Yeah.
was the coordinator, but like, it's got to be an advantage. It
Oh,
has to.
it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that because the thing about football and like what when you see teams succeed the way they do, like when you see teams win Super Bowls inside the locker room, them dudes are close as they can ever be, as far as from coaches to players, and everybody hold each other accountable. That's how you win.
Yeah,
And I'm just ready to get into a place and earn respect and build a culture like that one day.
I love that. Love everything about that. All right, Josh Ross, what can we plug for you social media wise? Twitter, Instagram, anything like that? Where can Ravens fans be giving you a follow?
Oh yeah, you can. So it's the same underscore for both Twitter and Instagram, but Instagram is Joshua Ross underscore 12.
Joshua Ross underscore 12. Give him a follow there.
Yep,
Dude, you're a great dude. This has been a tremendous conversation, and it would be
no doubt.
really
Appreciate it.
fascinating. Just, I can't help but shake that it would make a whole lot of sense for your name to be one that gets called by the Baltimore Ravens. What I'll tell you is if that happens, we can't wait to get to know you better. But we also know that if you get drafted by the Steelers, you're going to be really excited. We just ask, please don't be offended by anything we say about you on Twitter. We promise it's not personal. We don't mean it if that ends up being the case.
Yeah,
All right.
no doubt.
Hey, man. Josh, congratulations on everything so far. Looking forward to seeing what's ahead for you. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.